In the quiet village of Aroseg, where the cock's crow greeted the rising sun and palm wine flowed like wisdom from old calabashes, lived a young man named Dorogi. He was tall but thin, with lazy eyes that feared the hoe more than the gods feared a liar. His father, Baba Ogunlaja, was a farmer known for his sweat and honesty, but Dorogi spent his days sleeping under the mango tree, dreaming of wealth and the respect it would bring. Work is for fools, he often said to his younger siblings, Bizi and Kahind, who looked up to him like a hero. One evening, while his mother called the family to supper, Dorogi sat outside, watching rich men return from town in their cars. His heart burned with envy. He whispered to himself, if only I could find the shortcut to riches. The gods know I am tired of this poverty. The wind carried his words deep into the forest, where unseen spirits listened and laughed quietly in the dark. As the moon rose that night, Dorogi couldn't sleep. He wandered through the village until he reached the old crossroad, a place elders warned was cursed after sunset. There, a strange man dressed in black robes appeared from the shadows, holding a staff carved with cowries and skulls. You seek wealth, son of Ogunlaja? The man asked in a voice that sounded like rustling dry leaves. Dorogi trembled. Why yes, who are you? The man smiled faintly. Call me Baba Odiyu, the keeper of shortcuts. Baba Odiyu handed him a small calabash filled with palm oil and feathers. There is no wealth without sacrifice, he said. You must offer blood that carries your name, blood that trusts you. Dorogi's heart thudded. He understood what it meant but dared not speak it. As the night wind blew, he felt a dark whisper coil around his soul, and he nodded slowly. Tell me what I must do. The next day, Baba Odiyu led Dorogi deep into the forest where an ancient shrine stood, covered in moss, skulls, and burning lamps. The air was thick with incense and dread. Here, said the old man, you will pour the oil, chant my words, and bring a life dear to you. Only then will your hands be filled with gold. Dorogi's conscience fought within him, but greed muffled its cries. And what will I get? He asked. Wealth beyond measure, lands, cattle, women, respect. You will be called Chief Dorogi, Baba Odiyu promised. That night, Dorogi returned home, sweating though the air was cool. His mother smiled at him. My son, are you well? He forced a smile and replied, Yes, Mama. But as Bizi and Kahind played in the moonlight, laughter echoing through the compound, Dorogi's heart twisted. One of you will make me rich, he muttered under his breath, and the crickets seemed to hush at his words. 3 nights later, Dorogi took Bizi, his youngest sister, to fetch firewood near the forest. Brother, why are we going this late? She asked, holding his hand tightly. The firewood of night burns better, he lied, smiling to hide his trembling. When they reached the edge of the sacred grove, he stopped. The whispers of unseen spirits began to hum around him. Now, came Baba Odiyu's voice from the dark. Do it. Tears filled Dorogi's eyes as he raised the knife. Forgive me, Bizi, he choked. The little girl looked up, confused. Brother? Her last word was swallowed by the night. The wind howled, the calabash cracked, and red mist rose into the air. Dorogi fell to his knees as gold coins poured from the soil. But in the distance, a thunder rumbled, not from the sky, but from the gods. By morning, Dorogi's hut shone with treasures. His thatched roof was replaced with corrugated iron sheets, his torn clothes changed into fine agbada, and a new motorbike gleamed in his compound. Villagers whispered, the lazy one has become rich overnight. Dorogi smiled proudly as he threw coins at the children. Work is not the only key to success, he said, pretending humility before his elders. But his mother's eyes filled with confusion and pain. Where is Bizi? She asked. Dorogi swallowed hard. She went to stay with our uncle in Isayan, he lied. The woman's heart was uneasy, but she believed him, for the gods had not yet exposed his secret. That night, as he lay in his new bed, a voice whispered, "One is not enough," and the candle beside him flickered though there was no wind. Weeks passed, and Durojaya's wealth doubled. Yet the voice returned, stronger, demanding another offering. "You promised to serve," Baba Odiyu reminded him in a dream. Durojaya woke in sweat, trembling. His only remaining sibling, Kehind, was the next. "No. I cannot," he cried. But the voice replied, "Then I will take you instead." Fear gripped his soul. The next evening, Kehind followed her brother to the river. "Let's bathe, brother," she said cheerfully. Durojaya forced a smile, tears blurring his sight. As the moon reflected on the water, he murmured the incantations and pushed her beneath the surface. The river turned crimson, and his hands glowed gold. He screamed into the night, "I did what you asked. Leave me alone." But the forest only echoed his cries. Months rolled by, and Durojaya became the wealthiest man in Arosagb. He built a mansion, bought farmland, and married 2 beautiful wives. People called him Chief, bowing as he passed. He donated to the village and even built a small school in Bizi's name, to silence suspicion. "See how fortune smiles upon him," the elders said. Yet at night, his walls echoed with whispers. He would hear children laughing, his siblings' voices, calling, "Brother, why?" His wives often found him staring into darkness, muttering to unseen things. Once, he awoke screaming, claiming hands were dragging him under the bed. His servants began to fear him, whispering, "The chief is haunted." One afternoon, a violent storm swept through the village. The river near Durojaya's mansion overflowed its banks, flooding his compound. The villagers ran to help, but he shouted, "Leave me. It is my matter." The wind howled, tearing his roof, and a cold voice whispered, "Your debts are not paid." His wives fainted as they saw 2 childlike shadows standing in the rain, pointing at him. That night, the village priest, Baba Ifasgun, came to visit. "My son," he said, "you have called upon powers that demand blood. Confess before it is too late." Durojaya fell to his knees, weeping. "I only wanted to be rich. I never meant harm." But the priest shook his head. "You cannot bargain with spirits and hope to sleep in peace." One of Durojaya's servants, a young boy named Tade, overheard him talking in his sleep. "Forgive me, Bizi, forgive me, Kehind," he muttered every night. Terrified, Tade ran to the elders and told them everything. By morning, rumors spread like harmattan fire. Chief Durojaya used his own blood for wealth, people whispered at the market. His mother heard the gossip and fainted. When she awoke, she rushed to her son's house, wailing, "Durojaya, what have you done?" But he had locked himself inside, hiding from the world. He could hear the voices of villagers gathering outside, chanting curses. "Let the gods judge him," they cried, and the chief priest of Arosagb was called. Baba Ifasgun and the elders gathered before Durojaya's mansion with sacred kola nuts and palm fronds. "By the gods of Arosagb," the priest declared, "if you have spilled innocent blood, your wealth will turn to dust." As he spoke, the gold in Durojaya's chest began to melt into red liquid, and his motorbike burst into flames. Durojaya fell to the ground, screaming, "Forgive me. I was deceived." But the sky darkened, and thunder roared. The spirits of his siblings appeared, dressed in white, eyes glowing like stars. "Brother," they said softly, "you bought shadow with blood." He reached for them, crying, but they vanished as the storm broke above. From that day, Durojaya lost his mind. He wandered the streets, dressed in rags, shouting at invisible things. "Don't follow me. I said I'm sorry," he screamed. Children threw stones at him, mocking, "Lazy Durojaya. Where is your wealth now?" He began to live under the mango tree where he once slept, the same place his dreams of riches began. His mother visited daily, weeping. "You were my pride, Duro. Now look at what greed has done." He would only mutter, Bizi. Kind, forgive me. At night, villagers claimed they heard children singing near the tree, songs of sorrow and forgiveness carried on the wind. In the spirit realm, the ancestors gathered under the great baobab of judgment. Baba Odu knelt before them, furious. He failed to serve me. His weakness spoiled my work. The eldest ancestor, Aya Oren, replied, "You took what was not yours. The boy was greedy, but you are the corrupter. You both will suffer." Back on earth, Durojaya's body weakened. Strange marks appeared on his skin, the symbols Baba Odu had drawn during their pact. He screamed in pain as the marks burned. "I release myself from your chains," he shouted, but a dark shadow appeared beside him, laughing. "You cannot break what was sealed in blood." The priest, Baba Ifasgun, decided to perform a ritual of cleansing. The villagers gathered at dawn by the river, carrying white cloths and calabashes. Durojaya was brought there, weak and trembling. "Spirits of water, cleanse this lost soul," the priest chanted. The river began to swirl, and mist rose like smoke. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed, Bizi's voice. "Brother, are you ready to let go?" Tears streamed down Durojaya's face. "Yes, I am sorry," he cried. The mist enveloped him, and for a moment, he saw his siblings smiling. The villagers gasped as his body fell limp. The water calmed, turning clear once more. 3 days later, the priest announced, "The gods have taken him." Durojaya's mother buried him beside his siblings under a tall irako tree. The village mourned, not with anger but with sorrow. "Let this be a lesson to all who seek shortcuts," Baba Ifasgun said during the funeral. "Wealth without work invites death without warning." That night, a strange calm filled Oroseg. The wind blew softly, and the voices of children singing echoed faintly by the river, a sign, the elders said, that the siblings had forgiven their brother's wandering soul. Years passed, and the story of Durojaya became a tale told to every child in Oroseg. Mothers would say, "Work hard, my child, lest greed lead you to Durojaya's fate." His mansion stood abandoned, covered in vines, with bats nesting in its corners. At night, villagers claimed to see a faint golden glow inside, a restless reminder of wealth bought with blood. Thus, the legend of Durojaya, the lazy youth who traded his siblings for fortune, lived on, not as a tale of power, but a warning whispered through generations. The blood you spill for gold will one day rise to count your steps.